Kiss My Chaos. Taking stories of trauma into triumph while living life in the middle and everything in between. All views are expressed solely of the host, guests, and for entertainment purposes only. You don't like it? Well, you can kiss our chaos. Here are your hosts, Abigail Dark and DT Hudson.
Just when you thought you could get rid of us. We're back. A lot of people reaching out saying, where the hell are you guys? One, none of your business. Very busy, very busy. We are back, and we're going to do something a little different today. Be kind of exciting.
I guess you're going to learn a little bit more about us, because everyone's sick.
Wonder why. It's like 10 degrees one day and then 65 the next, and it melts and freezes and melts and freezes, and it's doing it right now. So I don't know, why not drive 35 miles in, come see Abs and drink her tea and steal her husband's guitars. And
of course, in case you're wondering, Harvey and Sons, if you would like to sponsor this podcast, we drink your tea pretty much every time we do this.
Ordering 4 little tins at a time. And you know what? I don't want to throw those tins away. They're too cool. So I just put stuff in them like a little pack rat.
They would be good for nails and, like little shop things.
I put guitar picks in them and pens and remote controls on my work desk.
You're a rebel.
I am a rebel. But they're too nice to throw away. Is that what it's called? Harvey and Son? I just went with the picture.
I think so.
Okay.
I hope I said it right. Otherwise, they're probably not going to sponsor us.
Probably not going to either way, but
That's
it's
fine.
Worth a shot. No, we were just going to recap and kind of give you a synopsis, I suppose, is a way to put it, of where we've been, what we've been doing. Had some personal things going on both ends. Had some work things going on both ends. Getting it in both ends is what we're saying.
Basically.
What kind of podcast does this become? We take a short break, and it wasn't. It was a planned break because it needed to be done. So I just got back from a place you need to go to.
Okay, where am I going?
It is the town built for you, and that is New Orleans.
Oh.
Wow. I tried to send you pictures while I was there. I hope you got them. But literally, that's your jam.
I did get your pictures, but for sake of my own mental health, I didn't look at them because then I would be sad that, that I am not where you were.
The weather was perfect. There wasn't any humidity. It was 81 degrees every day. And, I've kind of come out of my shell over the years because I was the guy that stood in the back, don't bug me. Now I got to be up front. So they had these street performers out there, these dudes from New York, and they're break dancing and stuff. I'm like, I've always wanted to see this, right? I mean, I grew up in a small little town. I've got to see this my whole life. Well, I did not realize that when you get up close, you become part of the show. So I quickly became part of the show, not realizing it. And every single person standing next to me, we had one common trait, and that was our ethnicity. We were all white, and these guys were all black. And he's like, I'd like to introduce you to the rich white guys. I'm like, no, not so much, but you got half of it right. But the end of it, it was so exciting because they're doing all this stuff, and they're ribbing us pretty good, right? I mean, it's hilarious. The crowd's loving it, and their organization, allegedly, I don't know anything about them, is they provide unity. They make fun of themselves. They make fun of everybody. And I love the way they do that because you can get a good laugh at
fantastic.
it. Yeah, and if you can't laugh at it, then you probably shouldn't stand in the front row like I did. But the grand finale was there were 5 of us, and apparently they kept saying the one guy was going to jump over all 5 of us. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. The guy jumped over all 5, did a flip over all 5 of us and landed. I think he clipped the last guy just a little bit, but
wow.
But earlier that day, and Ron, You are the largest Asian man I've ever met. Hilarious. And his wife, Cindy, wonderful couple we met there. And he wanted to be out there too. So here's this 6'2" Asian dude. And he had to stand right in between me and my friend Chris. He's like, I'm going to stand here. These are my friends now. And he's like, no, dude, you're too big. He goes, that's the first time anybody's ever told me that. But yeah, ultimately the guy literally leaped over 5 of us doing a flip. And you think someone would get that on video, right? Oh no, they were so amazed. Not one picture, not one video of it.
That surprises me in this day and age.
Right. And we're ducked down, we're not standing up. And yeah, so I didn't get to see it. So I got up and I'm like, what happened? It's like, that guy jumped over you, like did a flip. I'm like, well, that'd have been nice to see. I mean, it really would have.
I mean, did it happen though? Because nobody recorded it.
Well, maybe it didn't happen. I mean, I'm going to pretend that maybe I was just there. Yeah, they had us doing some of their dance stuff. It was a good time. It was a good time. What have you been doing, Ab?
Sitting on the couch for
right.
a really long time. So in case anybody doesn't know or doesn't know me personally on my Facebook, I was going through what we over 40s like to call a hysterectomy. So that was fun. Recently got diagnosed with something called Lynch syndrome. So just at high risk for lots of different kinds of cancers, and endometrial was the big one besides colorectal. So I decided in prevention stage that I was going to just take it all out. And I did. And so I was on the couch for like 6 weeks. And yeah, we were really ramping up to my triathlon stuff. I was really ramping up. I was doing great. I was just getting underneath 10-minute miles and really working towards that Olympic triathlon that I'm doing this year. So, but yeah, it was a mental game. But after it was said and done, it was, just some relaxation time, which is why we couldn't do this, because I couldn't sit upright. So that was kind of hard.
She's upright. You have to trust me. She's upright right now.
I'm upright now.
She's sitting in the queen's chair right now. Actually, I've got my head cranked like this so I can look at it, because I didn't bring along enough. Well, I did bring along enough. Of course, I was too lazy to take it out of the box. But no, we figured out our guest tonight came down with some illness, so we figured we would just hop on, as they say.
Yes.
And just kind of cover some things that have been going on. A lot of weird things going on in the world. Don't know if you want to talk about that. I kind of do. It's weird. A lot of weird things.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's talk about, well, we could talk about Iran.
We could.
I don't want to.
Okay.
That sounds hard.
I'm like, I don't really know a lot about that
I
sort
don't
of thing.
either.
I tried not to pay attention.
I don't either. I just hope all that gets over sooner than later. Right. Sounds like the police chief in this town retired. They have an interim chief, and I think I do know him because he had just started when I had left that department. Now I feel old. I'm old.
You're not old.
Feel old. When I talk numbers like that, for sure.
Go figure, right?
Yeah, right. But no, what's going on in, like, you always have the pulse of like the local area. Are there any like events coming up around here or anywhere that you've heard of? Anything new and exciting?
I think some of the ones that I've been involved in most with work, Gigi's Playhouse is having their annual event, their gala, which is coming up very soon.
What's that?
Gigi's Playhouse supports a lot of the local community with people with Down syndrome.
Oh, very good.
And so they're doing Diamonds and Denim. Riddles is sponsoring it. So that's my business. Not my business, but I run the local one. And we're kind of ramping up for that. I got my girls at work are pretty excited for it. We're giving away a 2-carat diamond. So that should be kind of cool. Yeah. Giving away diamonds and doing all the things.
Come and rob you.
Other than that, like, I think as far as my life, what I'm gearing up for is like lots of races. So before I went on hysterectomy leave, I thought, what a great way to motivate myself after I get off of that by signing up for a bunch of races. So now I'm at that point where I have to actually train to get to a point where I can do these races.
So have you started training again?
I did, man.
Were you supposed to start training?
Yes.
Already?
Okay. So, okay, we're going to talk about this. So, nobody tells Abby what to do, okay?
Yeah, well, we know that.
I don't like it. And so, throughout this whole hysterectomy thing, my husband, bless him, is such a sweet guy, helped me out through all of it, including my son. They both were really good. But I wanted to go walk at the track. And, the doctor's like, well, gave me this like wishy-washy doctor answer. Like, you probably shouldn't, but you can. And I heard the word can. And so I'm like, yep, doing it. Go to the track. I'm like, I will take the elevator up to the track and I will walk slow and I will only go for so long. Well, husband's like 10 minutes. You get 10 minutes to walk. So I go up there because I didn't want to lose all my fitness. I didn't want to lose all of it. And, I was reading, it helps with blood clots and all the stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to do it. So we go up there and I'm walking and like literally in a blink of an eye, ding, ding, my phone rings. It's 10 minutes. You're done. I'm like, oh, fine. So then I have to come back home to my hole, like you're indoors all the time, which is very depressing, I should add.
Very depressing.
Like I can see where like you get in that spiral. Like there were some days where I think the one thing that helped me the most is I forced myself every day to get up and take a shower. And that was like, I think that made me feel like, okay, I started my day. I would have my routine. I'd get up and I'd make coffee and I'd do the stuff. And I could only like walk around for so long before I'd have to lay down because the pain would kind of catch up and do all the things. But, and then I started, like questioning, am I ever going to be able to do this again? Like the running, the swimming, the biking, and all of the things. So this is really embarrassing to admit, but when James Vanderbeek died, I cried all day. Like literally all day.
R.I.P. James Vanderbeek.
I know. It was so sad and pathetic. But I think it's just like my hormones were crazy. I was, stuck in the house all day and I just needed something to cling to or cry about. I don't know. So I chose that. But getting back into the fitness stuff, I was cleared by my doctor and she just said like, okay, you don't want to just go out and start heavy lifting and doing this and that. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
But in my head, I was thinking I would just get back on that treadmill and I could just I would lose maybe a little bit of fitness. It might be a little bit of fatigue getting started again, but I would come back right away. Holy cow. That was like the hardest thing I've ever done. It was like I had never swam, bike, or run in my life. It was so weird when I hopped on the treadmill and just a walk, my heart rate just shot through the roof.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, and I just, my breathing and everything, I was just winded and like it just took my sails out of me. But I somehow finished, I had 7 days in a row of straight workouts and I got through every one of them and I did them to completion. Not as good as I was wanting them to go, but I completed them. And to me, I felt like, okay, you need to take that as a win. Plus I had gone back to work. So I was kind of like back in the normalcy of things. But it's really hard when you're trying to get to a certain fitness level again, where when 1 to 2 miles is really hard, you start to question, am I going to be able to complete, a 6 mile run, a 24 mile bike, and then, 2 mile swim or whatever it is, it's.
My question to you is, why wouldn't you be able to?
You just wonder if you're going to get it all back.
You'll get it back. I mean, but I think you brought up a good point about being indoors and like sitting on the couch. And granted, that it wasn't a choice; it was a medical necessity.
Right.
And the mind starts to wander, and you do start to question yourself. And it's like you slip a little bit, but you're talking to a person who goes to the gym and hasn't been to the gym for a while and tries to go pick up the same amount of weight.
Yep.
And then the next day I feel like I have polio or got beat by a garden gnome with a bat when I slept. And it's like, I can't do it anymore. And, as I get more mature, my body gets more mature.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't respond the way it used to. And, yeah, it's a crazy thing, but to me, it's almost like you're making your own path again. And I guess if there were mistakes made in your initial journey when it comes to fitness and many other things, well, you've learned from that. And it's not shortcuts, it's efficiency.
And it's giving yourself grace. I removed a major body part and had major surgery. I have to remind myself that, right now I'm only just over 7 weeks, after
Right.
that. And so the hardest part was realizing how do I put it? That I can't recover like I had before.
Right.
It's a weird feeling. Like I was so sore. My hips just hurt.
Of course.
Everything just hurt, like my whole body, top to bottom. And it was like I would have to like roll out of bed to get
I do
to the
that now.
gym. And I'm like walking to the treadmill and I'm looking at it like it's this like doom device. Like, oh, I don't even know if I want to get on this thing, and then I'd start and then eventually like my limbs would kind of figure it out and like started stretching and doing the stuff. And it got a little bit easier, but I think week after week, it's going to improve. And I think that's even with, like you said, more mature people. Yeah. You can't recover as quickly, but I think it's like only when you're first starting, your body just adapts and figures it out.
Amazing what a body can do. And especially when I'm not going to say forced to do it, but when it's been conditioned in the past, it's like it relearns and you learn, and the mental aspect of it as well is like, what, I can do this. It's getting over that when you're sitting in lethargic, and the mind wanders. And I sit, not lethargic, but I sit a lot just to think, overthink maybe.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, but I you get to a point where, you're at a crossroads. You're like, either you're going to do it or you're not. And you decide to do it again. So good on you for that. I mean, you can go the other way.
I think I have to think like I joined Brandon Shield Racing, and I think that was it was a really good mental thing because I got to see other people racing and like cheering each other on and seeing other people that were injured that are coming back and doing the things. And I just had a conversation with him because I was feeling really down and out because my last run I was in, if anybody here is a runner, you understand, I was in zone 5 for like most of my run. And this is supposed to be an easy run, right? And it was a jog. It was a jog and a walk, and it wasn't even the length that I would normally jog. But he was like, just do it slower.
Just do it slower.
Yeah.
But do something.
Yeah. Jog slower and walk. He's like, I'm like, but I'm not even like, I'm at 11, 12 minute miles. And he's like, Abby, a lot of my professional athletes are like 11, 12 minute miles when they're doing endurance running. And that hit me because I always had envisioned that these people were doing 20 to 50 miles at like 7 to 9 minute mile paces, but apparently they're not. And in my brain, I'm thinking I'm inferior because I'm not getting to those points, as just starting to run as a 40-year-old woman. Like it's irrational thinking, but to me, I'm like, I've always wanted to be the best at everything I do. So
maybe, right. Well, maybe that's the educational aspect of it. And, use the term race. And I know they use the term race, but who are you racing? You're racing against yourself, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, this is a competition with yourself, which for you, knowing you, how I know you, that's a lot of competition. Mm-hmm. But, getting back to the mental aspect of things and, allowing yourself to heal. I mean, you will come back if you decide to come back. And it's also I went through it with my wife too, with the hysterectomy, and I don't want to get into it with her sitting here because it's hers.
Yeah.
But, some of the things we talk about, and I think talking about it with a significant other, spouse or whomever, even a family member, if that's who you're living with, there are some considerable changes that happen. And you think about what your body's trying to adjust to just on the hormonal level, along with the physical level, and, go along with the physical getting into shape, getting back to where you were, just the healing portion itself. Your body's trying to do that too. While you sleep, while you eat, while you're on the couch, while you're walking, it's still trying to heal 24/7. And that takes a lot of energy.
It does. I had a lot of realizations while I was sitting here and on forced rest. If you're an overachiever type of person, you're always like looking to the next thing, to the next goal.
Yep.
What am I going to do? I think mentally, I like recognition. I'm one of those people. I enjoy, hey, yeah, good job. You're doing this and this. I'm one of those, I like that. And I was always looking for the next thing to like bring something else to the next level. But in my realization of rest, I was like, wow, I have this syndrome now where stress can cause a lot of health issues and factors and all these things. I'm like, I don't want to be stressed out anymore. I'm like, I don't want to feel like I'm constantly trying to grasp at something. So I came to the realization that this is the year of no.
Hey, wow.
The year of saying no, and the year of like, if I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. And I don't. And I used to be a people pleaser, like, oh, I have to do that because, I committed to that, or I did this or this. I had, a separate networking group. I was trying to build my own side business. I had the side hustle, had all these things that I had set my mind to. And I love Halloween. I wanted everyone to love all the local businesses and local Halloweens, was doing all these things. But I wasn't getting anything out of it. What I was getting was stress, putting all these things together. There wasn't really any monetary gain. And I started to kind of dread Halloween a little bit, and that scared me.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No, it's like it's my passion. It's my favorite holiday. Everyone knows that I'm obsessed with Halloween, but I was given another opportunity to do something on a large scale, and that was the hardest thing I've ever done, because that was my dream. That was to like put on a huge haunt, big dreams. I've always wanted to do that, and I had the opportunity. And then I realized in order to do that, I would have to push myself to the brink. Like there would be no time for anything else other than these side projects and all these things. When in reality, the most important thing in my life is my family.
There you go.
And my son. And my son, doesn't get my attention because of my side things. I was thinking in my head of all the times I was like, nope, I have to go do this. Nope, I have to be here. Nope, I have to go here. And then I turned around and he's 9 years old. And I'm like, holy cow, where did that time go?
Doesn't go back either.
And it doesn't. And so I say this to all the overachievers out there. Is it filling your cup, man? Because if it isn't, stop.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. And when you do, I learned the same as well. I'm probably one of the IDGAF guys.
Yeah.
But in the same token, it's a little heartbreaking to see some newer people, work-wise, wanting to achieve and make a name for themselves. And I think that's great. Good. But they don't say no. And they just continue to pile it on. And they're so stressed out. No matter how hard they try and whatever their intentions are, it starts to become half-assed because there's not enough time. And when we started our nonprofit, my biggest worry was always money and people. And those are the two things I don't worry about. They come. People are good. People are generous. It was time, and it still is time. Getting time, other people's time, being respectful of that time, and respectful of your own time. And I'm glad that you said family, because at the end of the day, you go home. And that's what you got in the end.
It's a great realization. And so I just decided I'm going to put more focus into that and into my family, and instigate more of our, family movie nights, all the other things that we can do to try to just be able to spend more time together and to enjoy it and enjoy each other. And who knows, my son's getting older. He wants to do more things like Taekwondo and
swimming.
Well, that's another fun thing we could talk about. Parenting. Okay, so if you know me, I'm not a quitter. I don't quit anything. I'll do it until I fall off a cliff, like if I start something, I finish it. If I don't think I can do it, I say no. But my son started swimming, and he was, he's a great swimmer. He's a good swimmer. He tried out for the swim team. He made the swim team. He was so proud, and he was in the bronze. And then the coach was like, okay, yeah, we practice 5 nights a week for an hour and a half every night. And I'm like, huh?
Right.
I guess, stupid parent, I didn't think to look into that and to see like what the commitment was. But he made it, so he was proud. And I said, okay, well, can we start with 3 nights a week and just kind of see where it goes? And I don't want to burn him out on it right away. So we did. We started 3 nights a week. He was swimming. But, oh, man, these kids were swimming circles around my kid. And you could just see the confidence, just his soul got sucked out of him. And I was watching it happen. And he came up to me at the second practice, and he's like, I want to go home. I'm done. I don't want to do this. I don't want to. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't want to do this? He's like, I am not good. I'm not like these other kids. I can't swim like that. I'm tired. Normally he goes to bed at 8:00. Well, practice goes from 7 to 8:30.
Wow.
So this is like during his bedtime on top of it, so, and he's just wiped. He's not a great eater. He's picky. We've been trying to build up his calories because I know he's got to eat a lot more in order to do it. So there was a lot of things kind of going on in between. And I said, well, I'm sorry, buddy, but you can't quit. I said, all these kids started somewhere. They were probably terrible at one time too. The coach came over, and she had the conversation with him too, and said, I was terrible. And then I got into the championship, stuff when I finished, and I did really well. And he was listening to it, and man, he's just stubborn. He's just looking at me like, I'm not going to falter. Like, I'm not going back in that pool. And so I was like, coach went away, and I did that parent thing, like, finish the night and I'll take you out for ice cream and we'll talk.
Sure.
And so that's what he did. Ice cream was the motivator. He went and finished. And we went and got ice cream, and we had a really good talk. And I just said, honey, you got to understand. Like I said, look at Mom. I'm a triathlete in a team full of professional athletes. The first time I did my swim with Brandon Shields Swimming, like, I felt so out of place. I'd never been to that pool. I couldn't even pull myself out of the damn pool. Like, I had no upper body strength by the time I was done with this like pool session, that like I couldn't even lift myself out. And like everyone just like lifted themselves out and like hopped out. And here I'm like, I'll just swim over to the to the step ladder over there.
Doggy paddle on over there.
I just
get that little lift thing and pluck you out of there.
They didn't have to do that, thank God. But I told them that sometimes it's embarrassing when you start something, but the thing is you have to keep going. You have to keep trying. And I said, I'll never be mad if you try.
No.
Even if you suck, who cares? Have fun doing it. I said, the only person you need to worry about is yourself. You're doing the swim. You're swimming through it. I said, you want to do triathlons with me, don't you, bud? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, that's why we're here. Just learn to do your freestyle better. That's all I'm asking. And so we came to a conclusion that was what he was going to do. I said, just finish the season out. So he went a few more times. I was in Rapid City for managers meetings after I got back to work and stuff. And I came back, and the next practice, he had kind of a tough one again. And he was struggling with it again. And we were kind of going through the same rigmarole. And then he ended up finishing that practice. And we went home, and we were like, okay, maybe we get you in one Wednesday and you do individual swimming with the coach. So more one-on-one contact type of thing. So you feel a little bit more confident, and you work on that confidence level, and you work on your skill building. And then we'll just do the swim meet practice once a week. So we even lowered it to 2 nights a week, and we thought, okay, well, that will do it. And then the coach told me, like, it's month to month. So, if whatever they want to do. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, he only has one more swim practice before, so I said, that's fine. We'll just call it after this month. But I'm not going to tell him that. We're still going to finish out the last practice. So I ended up basically quitting for him, but I was just going to tell him he finished the season. But here's the fun thing. So that last practice, like, I don't know if his soul went back into his body or what happened, but like the kid did really well. He, like, his freestyle was decent. He was getting across. He was having fun. He was like laughing and talking with the kids. And I mean, this is probably his like 10th or 11th or 12th practice. I figured by then he would have found his flight, but at the end, he's like, yeah, Mom, I got my confidence back. I did all the things. Like, I thought I did so well. Like, I'm really excited. Like, what's going to come now? Like, I can really do this now. And then I'm thinking, oh, well, that was your last practice.
That's sums up being a parent. I think.
I felt like such a rotten parent after that. I'm like, oh, good. He finally loves it. But in true parent fashion, I like flipped the script and I was like, oh, so you're going to be able to go to Carter's Academy Mondays and Tuesdays now. So we'll be able to do that.
Right.
Oh, and he was just stoked about that.
Of course. Who wouldn't be?
Yeah. So now he wants me to do Taekwondo with him on Tuesday, which is super fun. But
I think it's great. I think the key word in that is it's amazing when I have a confession to make after this too.
Ooh.
I confessed to one of our bandmates the other day.
Uh-oh.
I know. It's not dirty secret, but she didn't know. I thought she knew, but she didn't know. But anyway, having fun with something, and regardless if there's a beginning and end and you finish it, I think that's the important thing because you can apply those lessons through almost everything you do. But what you didn't know, Shanoa, you're listening. You always listen to our podcast. We are professional shelf builders now. Yes, we built some shelves the other day, and we had just a blast doing it. And for the nicest lady too, wanted some shelves, new house, and we were just talking about music and stuff, like you always do. And
yeah,
I'm like, it got me thinking when you were talking about your son's swimming. It's like that first practice that we ever had as a band. I had never played bass before.
Oh, really?
No. Had never played bass. Went and bought a bass guitar, trying to learn some stuff. And she's like, you're effing kidding me. I'm like, no, I didn't. And I was like, oh, well. So, but, and you learn from it. And then either you're going to learn to love it or you'll just naturally love it. And I'm like, man, sure is nice just hauling a guitar around instead of a whole drum set or keyboards. And
right.
Like, sure is nice just plugging in. I'm like, hurry up, being that guy. And kind of fell in love with it and haven't it gone back since. Matter of fact, it got me playing guitar again a little bit. I'm not a great guitar player. I can play some chords, but enough to show someone how to play some chords, but have fun doing it. It's always a challenge. But that first night, it's like, oh, listen to that lady sing, which was you. Listen to those guys play guitar and listen to that woman play the drums. It's like, what the hell am I doing here?
We were happy to have you.
But it was a great thing. And not only do you fall in love with doing that, you fall in love with the people too. And that's that kind of way it sounds with your son. All of a sudden he's laughing and joking with the kids. And it's like, hey, you know what? I found a little niche in life here. And there's always ups and downs with it. There's injuries, there's things like that. I don't get injured playing bass. Sore neck every now and then. But
yeah, of course.
But I did. I fell in love with it. Now I went a little ridiculous with buying bass guitars and guitars. But that's my thing. I mean, I could be doing a million other things. I could be sitting in a bar. I could be, doing things that are destructive. But, there's just something about music for me, not only therapeutic, writing it, playing it, creating it, learning it, because you'll never perfect it. But when you actually get to the point where you just say, screw it, we're playing, and we're playing in front of people, and you've got this thing that used to be a tree with metal on it and electronics, and people are singing along with you, and they come together. They're not, well, they fight every now and then. Depends on where you're at.
A couple extra shots.
Yeah, it depends on where you're at. But you know what I mean? Say you're just doing like a duo at a pub or something like that where people are just chilling out. I mean, and they're enjoying themselves. It's like, hey, I'm part of that. They don't even know who I am. But, you know, you get that this weird bond with people, and I fell in love with it. And I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the people I play with. Not in a weird way. Not in a weird way, Pat. Not in love with you that way.
Well, it's nothing better than that feeling of when you're just jamming and like screwing around, and then something comes together. You know, the song just starts to make sense, and you get that, like, it was in rhythm, it was in time, and then you got it flowing. It just has that feeling. I do miss that, and I'm hoping we can actually get together again next week and, like, you know, make more music.
Got some bad news about next week. Oh, next week? No, we're probably good next week.
Oh, okay.
We're probably good next week. The week after, probably not. And hopefully that's the end of the debauchery that's been going on in my life. So,
All right, because this week we can't, because, yeah, my husband's gone, so.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
One of these times we'll be able to make some music.
We will, and that's what's really cool about different groups too, because you don't know what's gonna come out of you. You know, it's like somebody will just start. It's like, do that again, and then all of a sudden something builds, and then some humming starts, and then all of a sudden there are words, and I sent that out the other day in like a group text message. I'm like, who wrote that song? I go, that's a damn good song. That's really good. And it's like, oh yeah.
Pat was just noodling.
Yeah.
And I remember telling him, like, keep on that. What is that? And then he had kept going with it. And then I just created some lyrics. And then Shanoa kind of came up with the drum beat. And you guys kind of came up with your stuff. And then, I don't know, we just like butchered through it the first few times. And it became good. I mean, I think it was like a really...
It still is. And it's funny because, you know, I am the master keeper of every time, because we record every practice or every little noodling session. We do whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But you start from day one. It's like, oh, well, you know, it's rough. I mean, but at that point, like your son's swimming, it's like, yeah, that wasn't very good. I'm done with that. You know, or he's like, let's try this. Let's try this. You find solutions. And, I think that's for me, you know, music for me is Xander swimming. And you'll never be the best. I mean, maybe here, maybe there, but there's always going to be somebody better. There's always going to be, and you can make it competitive, or you can make it, like you said, fun. And when you can tell when people are having fun, because then it gets really good.
Yep.
It becomes emotional, it becomes passionate, and people get into it. And if you've played long enough, and I've played long enough in front of people pick up on that. I mean, they can pick up when there's tension. You can look at your favorite band now. You know, people that hate each other up on that stage.
You do.
I think of Skid Row, because those guys screw around with each other all the time. They're hitting each other in the nuts and purpose, you know, and stuff like that. They're having a good time. And then you can tell the ones that there's no cohesion, the Don Dock and George Lynch thing, you know, you can just feel the tension in the air. And I think music heals a lot of that. And I think creativity and using it and pushing yourself a little bit outside your comfort zone, which I was never very good at it. And now I've become a little bit addicted to that. Sorry, everybody.
There's nothing wrong with that. I brought my keyboard upstairs just so I could
see that.
play and practice and do the things that I used to do. My piano used to be just right off my kitchen in my house that I grew up in. And so I thought, you know, I have this beautiful Korg keyboard that's collecting dust in the basement because I never go down there. I don't know if it's a mental thing or what. Like, it's...
You're not allowed down there in the secret
Well, not
room.
really. It's my husband's, like...
It's his lair.
lair down there with all of his, like, hobby things. And so, you know, then I'd be forced to spend time with him. So I
Oh, stop it.
so I come upstairs and I'm like, you know what? I just want to have it up here. So if I feel like it on my days off, I can just pop over and play it and
can
not
always-
have to worry about his 1,000 things that are plugged in down there that I'm going to screw up if I touch something or move it around. And
So that's one thing that's cool about playing guitar now, because I played drums for a long time too. And talk about a perishable skill. I listened to Shanoa play drums. I'm like, good Lord, no, I can't do that. I just can't do
well,
it.
she's on another level.
Yeah, she's on another level, and there's no doubt. I tell her that all the time because I mean it, and it's true. But my house has like a guitar of some sort in almost every room. It's like if I have a thought, it's like it's right there. I don't carry a drum set around with me from room to room. I couldn't do that, and definitely a different instrument, definitely a different perception of how it is, because you're a heartbeat. And it's an essential heartbeat. And if that heartbeat's not right, everything's screwed up. And it's all about timing and stuff. So I think it's great because your house, there's two sitting right there. That one's mine now. But you got your keyboard up here. And to me, that's incredible progress. I mean, I think it's great because you never know what's going to hit you. You had time on the couch to think. And
Yeah.
you were in your timeout phase for being naughty.
I know, and I wish I could have spent more time playing it. I just couldn't sit upright, So
No,
that was
it's-
the frustrating thing. I wanted to be able to, and singing, you don't realize
no.
how much of your diaphragm you
Oh.
have to use when you sing. I wanted to do some of that, and I thought, I'll just play keyboard and sing a little bit. No,
No,
it wasn't happening.
definitely not. That is like probably the worst thing you could do next to sit-ups with a weight on your chest. It's just-
Pretty much. So,
Just no.
But I think that's one thing that I really let go for a long time. So for 2 years after I, got sober and stopped drinking, I really stopped playing. Even I'd do stuff for the band, but I didn't practice as much. And I think part of it was me trying to stay in my sobriety. I always accumulated like my music playing. Man, I would write some good shit when I was hammered.
well, we all do.
And then I kept thinking about, I just get like blocked. I had nothing that would come out of myself anyway when I was playing keys. But that was something my husband and I used to do. We'd drink or we'd get drunk from the bar and we'd come home and we would play stuff. He'd play, acoustic guitar and I would sing and play piano. And the next day, like I would record some of it and I'm like, wow, that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And in our busy lives, I guess you're more emotionally put out there, I guess I could say, when you're sober.
Well, you have boundaries set up, and I think that's a good point. So when you cross into that home to learn, especially on sobriety, when you're not sober, those boundaries are down. That's why there's fights. That's why there's so much lubbing going on.
Yeah.
Inadvertent lubbing.
Well, exactly. And you're not afraid to try things on music and to do those things that you probably wouldn't do when you were sober, and on the fact that like, oh, well, that sounds weird, or
So
like,
there's a transition time.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
so
tough.
how do you get to that point where it's like, I don't need this to be able to do that?
right, and that's why the dusty keyboard is upstairs.
A little dusty. We'll
Yeah.
get that cleaned up before I go today.
And I keep looking at it and I think, okay, I'm going to set it up. It's going to be to where I want it. The settings will be on the sound of where I want it. So when I feel like I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try this again. And then it's ready for me to go. So then I can start playing some more again and writing and doing some of that. Because that to me, now that I have this extra free time from my saying no, I look forward to kind of just getting back and writing some music again.
Well, I brought it up before. You're finding your middle. You're finding your identity, and you're allowing yourself to do that. And I think that in a life, especially being a parent, I mean, you give, and then it is hard to say no. I mean, I still have a tough time saying no to certain things. Other things, I'm a hell no.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten to that point. I was like, absolutely not doing it.
Well, and I can thank you for that too, because I mean, you, with the music stuff, like you inspire me with it on how it emotionally, like how you regulate yourself through music and how you use it and need it. You know, like you said,
I
like
do.
this is my thing. Like I have to have that.
I do.
And it used to be my thing and I used to need it. And I kind of lost it somewhere along the way. Like my triathlete stuff, like absolutely. Like that's my stress relief. I love that. I have just as much passion with that as I do my music. But I want that back. Sometimes I hear a song and I get inspired and I'm like, wow, I want to go home and write.
Isn't that crazy though? Like, have you ever been like doing your training and stuff and all of a sudden the music and the training have now married up? And it's this like unstoppable force. It's like, I got this in my head and it came to my head while I was doing X, Y, Z, swimming 55. I don't know. I don't know much about triathlon. You get wet, you pedal and run a lot.
Well, you try running 13-minute miles,
No, thank
listening
you.
to Swedish death metal. Like, it's hard.
Swedish death metal.
Well, you know, I've got some, you know, Orbit Culture and some like heavy metal
Yeah, sure,
on
from
my
Sweden.
stuff. And so I listen to heavy metal when I'm running. I'm not listening
all right.
to like Fleetwood Mac, you know? So
No.
I cannot physically, I don't know if anybody else has this. I cannot run against the beat. So like if it's a fast song, I have to run fast. I cannot like
The
regulate
drums.
my like
Yeah. It's the drums and
my
the
rhythm.
chugging.
Yeah. So I have to follow that. So like I have a running playlist that I use when I'm running so I can like motivate myself to go faster. But there have been times I've played like a slower song and I'm like, before I know it, I'm like staring off in the distance and
I
just
know, but you were doing that. You actually put a Facebook video out there. You were riding your stationary bike, sitting in Rest in Peace. That's a slower ballady type song, but you know, you're not running, not worried about tripping over cracks on the sidewalk or a car broadsiding you. You're on your stationary
and I was
bike
pedaling to the beat.
Yeah.
If you look at that video, my feet were going to the beat. I'm like, why can't I just like, which is fine if I'm in a race because you can't have headphones or music on, which is great. So,
It's horrible. I can't stand listening to myself wheeze and my fat feet hitting.
well, you know, I think that's part of the fun of it. And I'm like, I wonder if I'd get DQ'd if I sang a song as I'm like biking through this whole thing.
If they came up to you, and questioned you, just it's like put your finger up and then just go, "Amen." I'm sorry, did you say something?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'd be a distraction, probably. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Good. See, you're on the mend.
Yep.
There's a lot of things on the mend right now, and I think that's what's important. And even taking a little time off just for personal work or whatever reasons, kind of like we did, I think it's a good example to everybody. Take some time for yourself. Reevaluate, reload. Nothing wrong with reloading. Reassess. Find out what your priority is. Take some time. And, you know, some people say meditation, some people, whatever works for you. I mean, that's then what works. I mean, everybody's different. I just clearly made it evident mine is music, and sometimes it's meditation, sometimes it's yoga. There's a couple people that approach me that want to be on the show as well that are very much into yoga. That's their thing, and I'd love to talk to them about it and not find out why, but what it actually does for them and where they get their clarity in life after that.
I would love to learn more about yoga.
I got a lady.
I'm one of those, I've taken a couple of yoga classes. A good friend of mine, Amanda Nordic, teaches one. She has like candlelight yoga. And she knows I just find it torturous to just stand in those positions.
Oh, it's
because
horrible.
It's
Not
so
horrible.
hard. I would rather
It is
run
hard.
6 miles than just
No, it's
stand
true.
there.
I mean, I did it once. One of our friends way back when taught, and you know, people come and go in yoga classes, and it's like, you know what, I'll go, I'll support her. And so we're at this dinky little city center, and we're in this pose where my ass is in the air and my feet are out, and this guy comes walking in, and that's the first thing he sees. And he's like, "Is this where the online auction place is?" And I just answer him in between my legs. I'm like, "No, it's next door." And I'm like trying to point with my hip. It's like that poor man. But it was hilarious because for a larger man, I am very flexible.
You're not a larger man.
Not anymore, but I'm incredibly flexible. And they're doing these poses. I'm kicking their ass. I mean, these ladies are like trying to get, and I'm ball the way out. I
Good
can
for you.
Yeah, I've always been able to do that because I stretch a lot or my back hurts. Anyway, she comes walking up to me. She goes, "Oh, you're a flexible little son of a." It's like, I am.
Like a rubber band,
I
like
am.
Gumby.
I am. I go, I'm made of rubber, but I have short legs, long arms, so I can put my palms on the floor, and all that stuff. But no, I don't. I do know afterwards, you lay down and you like kind of chill out afterwards.
Yep.
My back cracked like 50 times. I'm like, oh my God, that felt good. But it's hard. I mean, some of these things, because not only are you doing these poses, right? You're holding them. It's like, now it's isometric. Now it's torture to me. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God. So a lot of credit to the yoga folks out there. I think there's a ton of benefits for it.
Oh, absolutely. I've been reading a lot about just breathing exercises, little things that you can do while you're just sitting at home by yourself. It's just unplugging, right? Like getting off your device and not while you're listening to the podcast. Okay, you have to listen to this. But
Right.
when you're doom scrolling or whatever at night, to just put it down and doing deep breath exercises, allowing your stomach to go all the way out and come back in like you're pushing on a corset. And just doing that for 5 to 10 minutes is the biggest benefit that you can do for your core work. So many women nowadays, when they breathe, they're so used to like having a sucked in stomach, like they unintentionally will tighten their stomach as they're walking, as they're doing things throughout the day, as they're sitting, things, and it affects the way that you breathe, and it affects the way that your body reacts, especially like if you're doing triathlon and other things and you're just not getting those deep breaths, those deep guttural breaths, and they do help with lowering your cortisol. So your cortisol is constantly high. You're not getting that breath work. Your brain isn't getting the oxygen that it needs. So I've just spent like 5 minutes a day in the morning after I get home, after my triathlon training, and I just sit in the dark with my coffee and I just breathe and just do the breath work. And I can't even tell you how much of a mood stabilizer it is throughout the day.
I would assume some people would even compare that to meditation.
I would say so. I try not to think about anything. I don't think about like, what's my goals? Like I don't do any of that stuff.
I think that's meditation.
Oh, yeah.
Like not
like-
thinking, like you think of like a white sheet of paper and you just like erase stuff just for
Like a
that.
fan. I always think of like a fan going and just having that like murmur in my ears. So I don't
Hate fans so much. Angie sleeps with a fan.
cannot sleep without a fan.
I know. Oh my God. Yeah. She should run triathlon. She does it in her sleep. I mean, some days it's like a raccoon has gotten to my legs.
It's hilarious.
It's like, girl, your feet are just going 1,000,000 miles an hour. She goes, I got RLS. I can't help it. It's like you did about 26.2 miles last night. It's like, I'm so
You should
tired.
have her wear one of those Garmins at night and see where she.
She's the only woman that can get 25,000 steps while she sleeps.
We love you, Angie.
We do. We do. Come and check out her estate sale in Detroit Lakes, the 9th through the 12th. Is it the 9th through the 12th? Yeah, 9th through the 12th, I believe. So we just did the ad. She's doing a little estate sale, especially if you like clocks. Never seen so many clocks in my life.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Like 200.
200 clocks? Who
There's a lot
owns
of
200 clocks?
Well, she had like clocks. I mean, I guess everybody's got their thing. I've got a bunch of guitars. She had clocks, so that's her thing. But she had a lot of clocks. Great stuff. I mean, it's like pristine. I mean, very well cared for, and so apparently clocks were a huge deal. And it's kind of sad, when you go into someone's house like that, and that's their life, and
That's their legacy.
it is. But I guess all you have is here it comes time. So
Great way to end that.
Yeah, sorry about that. We were worried we weren't going to fill an hour, and so it's almost been an hour. This happens all the time.
This was on the cuff, by the way, everybody.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm sorry if this was a whole lot of like nothing, but I hope you got something out of it. You know,
Yeah,
with
for
the
sure, for sure. We're going to be back in action with our guests. We have some really interesting, awesome folks coming up. Different perspectives on life. Things, looking at life probably ways I certainly didn't look at it before, but I learned something new every time we have a guest in here.
Yeah, we have Ruben. He's going to be coming on. He is former addiction, major addiction, different things that he had gone through. Very young man, and he's already figured out ways that he can help other people in the jails, in prisons, things like that. He's an inspiration, and he's very young. He's in his early 20s, and to go through such a huge life experience that young is amazing. And then we have Tom coming up, survivor. We talked about that on Facebook. He has such an incredible story. And Mandy Jackson, hopefully we can get her scheduled here really soon. She has just an incredible story with having her kids and her heart attack and her condition, and how she's advocating for others now.
That's awesome.
With any type of heart disease, and to get the word out there. So
I got a couple surprises too.
Oh boy.
One of my very good friends is now retired, was a policeman, and has turned to ghost hunting.
Can we do a live ghost hunt?
Oh, we could do that. He would love that. We're going to have to go out to Western North Dakota, but I'm up for it. We can take the Rappy out there. We'll go out there.
Are we going to film that one? Like actual video filming?
Yeah, we're filming that. We're going to do, I tell you what, I've been practicing. I have a thermal imager. I am catching something. I have to prove it. I have to do it.
Oh man. Okay. Well then I think in order for us to do that, I have to wear my like Dana Ghostbusters like red.
How about the performer at your event that did the Ghostbuster routine? I talked to that guy for like 2 hours.
I love that.
That was awesome. That was one of the best shows I've ever seen. But no, he's a cool dude. He's been doing it, and he's going to talk about some of the paranormal and unexplainable things he saw as a law enforcement officer, and now has gone into a group, and it is in the reservation area in Western North Dakota, and there's so much, not only folklore, but so much spirituality there. It's you learn a lot. You learn a lot about the culture, and you get corrected a lot. I've been corrected a lot.
I think that would be fantastic. I think we should do more ghost hunting.
I think we should be. Maybe we should just do ghost hunting all the time. There's a lot of ghost hunting podcasts. But I will tell you this. I've had some experiences myself. I know you have. We talked about it briefly, and very interesting. And it would be interesting what I want to do before that one. We'll put it out on our Facebook page. I want to hear some of your stories. I think it would be really cool. And you know what? Throw them out there. I think it would be fun to just read some of them.
Oh, yeah.
While we do this, because some crazy stuff. And when I was a local cop here, I had a couple things happen that will not erase from my mind. And I was with some of the most stoic people when it happened. And like, let's get the hell out of here. We're not staying around.
Oh, there's so many great haunted areas in Fargo. Just from doing simple research, the Screaming Woman by the train. There's so many.
What?
Yeah, that's a folklore one.
By the train. What train?
The train tracks. The Screaming Woman in the train tracks.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, look it up. If you Google it, it's
the
a thing.
Screaming Woman.
Uh-huh.
Like people have seen her or just hear her?
Hear it.
I don't like that.
Well, I'm always the critic. Like, well, maybe it's the train stopping,
Oh, you're going to be the skeptic?
I'm the skeptic.
Oh, that'll be fun because I'm not.
I'm the Halloween lover, and you would think that I am like all about the ghosties. Well, I'm like, I look at him like, that's not an orb, that's a speck of dust.
Okay.
I'm that person.
I do that too. I'm not the big orby person, but there are certain things you just cannot explain. I mean, the house that we live in, there are family members that won't stay at our house. So there is that. But the weird thing is a lot of that, like events, let's call them events.
Sure.
After my son grew up and went and started his own life, and all of his friends weren't there, and my nieces and my nephews weren't at our house almost every day, like stopped.
Huh.
Not stopped. It's just like one night, maybe a year now, versus like a lot of weird things going on.
Sure.
But that's a 126-year-old house too.
I don't think I've ever, I can't say that I've ever like physically seen a ghost or like had that like major experience. I just remember one time when I was younger, the only time, this is the one that sticks out. I was home. My parents were in Vegas. My brother was watching me. He was older. He's 8 years older than me. And he was in his bedroom down the hall. And of course, like my parents were gone. I think I was like 10 maybe. So I was sleeping in their bed because they have the more comfortable, like big king size bed. So I was going to stay in there. And I'm reading my book. And then I heard these two kids in the hallway saying like, go get it. And I know I heard it. I know I heard the voices and I heard footsteps. I got up. I went to my brother's room. He's in there. He's snoring. So he's like out, right? So I didn't hear anything after that, but I definitely slept underneath the bed because I know I heard something.
That is the worst place to sleep. That's where they hide.
Well, and then I found out my old Victorian house in Newland, Minnesota is an old historical house, and it was an orphanage.
Yeah.
Way back in the day. So I actually did like Google it down the road, like looked stuff up. And there was a lot of like, disease and things around that era when kids were there. So there were some kids that may have passed away in the house. But I had friends that refused to sleep in my house. They swore that there's this picture of a farm girl that's sitting in a field staring at this old farmhouse. It's a famous photo, famous painting, I guess. And they swore that she moved throughout the
I don't like that either.
Yeah. So,
I do know,
like,
I've had skeptical people at our house, and before the old, if you have one here, I'll do it quietly. The Alexa, we don't want her chiming in. Anyway, before that time, we were just talking about something, and my in-laws were there, and in our kitchen, it was a woman's voice, clear as day. Could not make out what she said, but it was about as loud as we're talking now. It was like, it was just something like that. And I remember one of the people put their hands on it, just like, I'm getting the hell out of here. And they laughed. It makes sense. But I've had friends over. The one guy won't sleep up in our guest bedroom because he calls it the portal. It's now my guitar closet of guitar cases, so I don't have to trip over them. But no, just many, many weird things. Hey, but why don't we do it now? I mean, if you have a story, throw it out there on our Facebook page. I think it would be interesting. I'd love to read through them.
I'd love to just see like what you, since I'm the skeptic, thought you saw, or
you saw it. You experienced something. Even I'm not saying what it was. I'm just saying maybe you can't explain it.
It's true.
I'm not a non-skeptic, but I'm leaning the other way because I don't buy the whole orb thing. And like some of the shows on TV, it's like, no, it's like all it is a video camera staring at an entry. It's like, did you hear that? No one heard it. You're making absolutely.
We're not going to do that.
No, we're not going to do that.
It might be the most boring shit you ever see if it's like nothing happens, but
just hear a burp and a fart in the background. That'd probably be us.
What was that? Dan had Mexican.
Did you hear the thunder? It smells like Mexican. See, Plaza Azteca. Local business here, Plaza Azteca. Probably some of my favorite Mexican food in Fargo Moorhead.
They are good.
Yes.
Tableside guac.
Very good. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to our ramblings. I'm going to try and drive home before this alleged snowstorm hits. So
yeah, that. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. And hopefully the next couple of weeks here, we'll have another guest so we can talk a little bit more. It happening. All right. Till next time. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Kiss My Chaos podcast. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we speak with some of the most intriguing people about their journey from trauma to triumph. If you find yourself in mental crisis, please seek professional medical help immediately.